I'm back. What's going on, Views for the Link TV? Feels good to say it. Stephen Amadeo, alongside Tom Maresco. That's the bit. I'm back. I've always been.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah, of course.
That was what happened. So that's why this man's back. He had to come out and celebrate the birthday.
I did have to do that.
Had to happen. So.
Yeah, and we're not living in the same place anymore in LA, so it's kind of been
Exactly.
But I'm back, and for 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Got a big win in the division.
We have been watching the games. In each other's presence.
Yeah.
Don't know how I'd handle it any other way.
Any other way. So far, it's good things, some bad things. Probably a little more good than bad, but
yeah, looks like they're playing pretty well.
Big win. Just that winner of the Redskins. That was huge. That was huge. Yeah. If you're gonna lose a game, NFC game on the road, that's the game you want to lose. So it's bird bust. So we got questions. So we'll talk more about the division, but let's get these questions going. First question. Smith Boy 93.
We'll say the first thing.
End roams, run the ball.
Yeah. It's pretty self-explanatory.
How about run it to the right too? That'd be good.
Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks.
Smith Boy 93. How you doing, man? Do you view this game as a trap game? Also, you think Clement should get a chance this Sunday?
As a trap game, I think people are really overselling a trap game. How's a division game a trap game? I'm not saying Smith Boy. I'm not saying you think it's a trap game, because I know that, but that's been talked about, and it's just shocking to me because it's a division game. The Eagles are coming off a loss. Just because one team is more desperate than another team, a trap game usually comes off like a couple big wins, and you're you're playing like a really bad.
Yeah, we're playing the Bears or something.
Yeah. The Giants, they're 0-2, but this is a team that's got a veteran quarterback that's got an Odell Beckham on their team. So they have weapons, and then their defense. It's still a good defense. They don't look that bad on defense. The Lions scored 24, but one of those touchdowns is a punt return.
Yeah.
So they've let up 17 and 19 to two pretty good offenses. So it's not really their defense, and you never know when their offense can click and have one random good game. So it's not a trap game because it's a tough game, regardless of the record. It's a divisional game. You're in your house. The Giants are playing bad, but the Eagles also are hungry for a win. They don't want to look at 1-2, so it's not really a trap. I think it's just going to be a really good game. I think you have to take the Giants seriously, regardless.
Yeah.
And Clement, I just don't think the offensive line is really making much happen up front. No. So it doesn't really matter who's running the ball. Honestly, it's. Maybe you get a fresh face in there. He busts a couple runs, but I don't know. I think they needed to make the personnel change that they actually made, and that's Chance Warmack in there for Isaac Sam Allen.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to that in a second after we do this. Billy Ebline 28, familiar name. Could the Eagles still have a shot to win a division or make the playoffs without Ronald Darby or Rodney McLeod home? Right now.
Yes, I think they're coming back eventually this season, but through this next stretch, we have 5 of our next 7 games at home.
Yeah.
So those are the ones. This is the stretch. If you want anyone out, this is the stretch. You have 5 of the next 7 games at home. So I think they do. I think they can. I think they can.
Yeah.
They can weather the storm. It's gonna be tough, but
I think by week 9 and 10, they should both be back. Ready to go. So I think they'll be fine. The secondary defense hasn't been the problem.
It's been the offense.
It's been the offense.
Turning the ball
offensive
over.
line specifically.
Offensive line not being able to run the ball, turnovers, things like that. So the pass rush is playing well, but the corners do need to prove they can play up on receivers. Or the same thing that happened last time is going to happen there and start neutralizing that pass rush.
Yeah.
Max protect, quick passes. They can neutralize our pass rush. So you need to your corners that are in there right now. They really do need to step up.
Exactly. Last question. 1105 MMJS. Does Reese Hoskin play football too? We wish.
Rip Hopkins. My boy Rick Hoffman. I always say his name wrong on purpose to troll, and it's funny. If we had a guy that was on a hot streak like him, we might have beat the Chiefs, But I think Carson Wentz can be that guy. I think Carson Wentz can get on this little streak in this defense, and I think they can carry us for this next couple weeks here.
And I think the personnel change at the offensive line, I think it's good. Not going to shatter his confidence. I'm sorry, he's in the second year.
Yeah, Sam Olive, he didn't play well,
no,
so
he's not playing well. Is it going to be good for his confidence to get beat for like another 3 sacks again?
Yeah,
like, no, that's not good either.
Man,
so, and then we were saying this. I was saying a lot. You were saying it. Like, I don't know if you were. Forget if you were agreeing with me because it's been a while since the show. But I always said that he was the center. He's supposed to be the center.
Sam Olive, yeah. I mean, you can put him at the interior
and then
spots.
When Kelsey's probably gone next year,
Yeah.
he stinks too.
Yeah.
The whole left side of the line is just awful right now.
Yeah, it's true. Keep getting my dog's hair in my mouth. But either way.
But so that's not doing Sam Olive any favors. Peters isn't playing well.
Yeah.
Kelsey's not playing well.
Exactly.
So, and he's not. I mean, not an excuse.
I don't know how good Chance Warmack's going to be.
I don't know either.
I mean, we'll have to see, but no, yeah.
I like big guards, like big guys in there that are hard to move, and that's what Chance Warmack is.
Yeah,
At least got he's got more size. Got like 20 pounds on.
Yeah, his physicality should be a big upgrade there.
Yeah.
So hopefully him and Peters start picking it up on that left side. But we've been getting broke.
They got to run it to the right. They really not run to the right that much, which makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. They have to change something up to get this run game moving. You got to commit to it because running the ball 10 times in a game is just not going to get it done.
No,
just not. And then that leads me honestly right into what I want to talk about the NFC East a little bit. And my big thing is, when teams adjust to what your strength is, do you have a plan B, a plan C? Mm-hmm. On Sunday, we saw Dallas is a great example to start off with. Their plan B didn't work. No. I mean, their defense let Trevor Siemian throw for four touchdowns like he's Peyton Manning. Yeah. And C.J. Anderson ran all over him like he was Edgerrin James. I mean, I thought I was watching the Colts for a little bit. And they blew him out. And Prescott looked really bad with no run game support. And Zeke had his worst game of his career, and he looked like he checked out of the game at one point. And they didn't have a plan B. Now I don't know if there's enough teams in the league that have the kind of personnel that Denver does to be able to attack them the way they did. Yeah. But there's certainly enough teams in the league to have offenses that can move the ball like Trevor Siemian can move it. You know, that was an 8-8 team from last year because they just weren't that great
at quarterback. They were good other places.
Yeah, they were good other places, but at quarterback. But Siemian, I mean, he really, really torched that secondary, and that's a problem for the Cowboys. Now, when you move on to the Giants, their strength is probably their receiving core, their weapons for Eli. But the problem is when they can't get the ball, I mean, what else can they do really? I mean, I guess their defense, that would be what keeps them in games, but I mean, it's really what's overshadowing it is the fact that their offense doesn't do anything. So their plan B really isn't able to work because the defense needs, run support like a pitcher does. You know, they need points on the board.
Yeah, they do.
And then the Redskins, what's their strength? Probably offensively, it's probably throwing the ball. Yeah. But losing Djax and Garcon, I mean, their pass game's been fluttering, and I think they struggled against the Rams. The Eagles beat them. So what really do they have to rely on? I mean, it's tough because teams are going to take away your strengths. Eagles are the same thing. I mean, do the Eagles have a plan B outside of Carson Wentz throwing the ball 40 times in a game?
Not right now.
Yeah, not right now, other than their defense, just kind of like the Giants. Their defense can help them out. But like we saw, you score 13 points against the team, then you're not going to win the game. I mean, Kansas City eventually hit a couple big plays, and that was it. So every team, they're working on their plan B. What are they going to do in counter to when a team can take away their best weapons? They all have tougher schedules this year. Yeah. They all are more on the radar than they've been in the last couple of years. Yeah. So these are things you have to figure out, and whatever team I think figures that out first, whatever team can kind of make themselves more dynamic and balance their team out, the quickest will win the most games in this division. And I think it's up in the air right now, but we'll see going forward. I still think Dallas has the best offensive line, and that could go a long way, obviously. And that could go a long way for them because keeping their offense, I mean, the Eagles and the Giants, the other two probably best teams in the division, they don't have that. They don't have offensive lines that are playing well right now. So
They don't. See. But I mean, we were saying this all last year. It's like if someone could just string together a nice game against the Cowboys, and no one ever did.
Yeah,
no one could ever score. No one could do anything, and like that defense is bad.
It's worse this year.
Yeah, it's worse this year. They lost their 2 starting corners.
And their starting safety, Larry Church.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all those Cowboys fans who are happy to see those guys go, well, I mean, they start a lot of games together, and that matters, you know? That's chemistry. They know what they're doing back there.
Yeah.
And no, they weren't getting any better, so that was a problem. But at least they were, you could tell, I mean, they weren't big names. They made stupid mistakes. But but they're better than the guys in there now, you know? They're a bunch of inexperienced guys who've never played together before. The most tenured player in the secondary right now is Byron Jones or Orlando Scandrick, 2 guys that aren't that great. So Trevor Siemian put that on display, dude. Those I'll tell you what, those receivers didn't back down. They just went right after them. And they got them.
And if they can't,
C.J. Henderson,
if they can't control the clock and keep the defense off the field, then that's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And
Prescott's supposed to be, this big-time player, and he didn't really look like he was. And he didn't look like that in the first game.
And he had all day to throw the ball.
Yeah.
The offensive line is good.
Yep.
Not as good as it was
I mean, you're seeing, even though Zeke's getting shut down, that clearly means you're seeing 8-man boxes.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing about the Broncos is that they have
personnel.
3 corners that can go man-on-man with guys and shut them down. Yeah. That's what they did. There's not enough teams in the league that have that.
For probably the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the problem. I mean, I still think Dallas is a good team because there's not many teams in the league that have 3 corners that could start on any team and probably be like their best corner.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough to say. And then they have a pass rusher like Von Miller.
Yeah.
And you're just looking at a defense that's just really tough.
Yeah.
So they did shut the Cowboys down. They had the formula. Now you're going to probably see Arizona try to mimic that. They're going to stick Peterson on Bryant. And then they're going to say everyone else cover who they have. Tyrann Mathieu probably on Jason Witten, and they're probably going to go man up and just try to shut Zeke down with that front.
Yeah.
So that's what teams are going to do. You can't let Zeke beat you. He's too good. He's just too good. I'm not saying Prescott's not good just because of a couple games, but if you're going to let a guy beat you, it's going to be It's not going to be Ezekiel Elliott. It's going to be Dak Prescott throwing the ball. So, and with the Giants, they don't even have a running game at all.
Yeah, they have no running
game. They have no running game. So it's all on the receivers, and they have no line to protect Eli to throw the ball downfield. Yeah. So it's really limiting them. So I think the Eagles are a really balanced team. It gives me a lot of confidence going forward. Yeah. Just in the future in general.
Yeah, I think moving forward, beyond this year, they're definitely in a really good spot.
This year's going to patch a couple things up, but we have so long because Wentz is the guy, and we have he's young. Like the Giants don't have all the time we have to build our O-line back up. They have Eli, so it's a little different there. So you're looking at the Giants trying to get one last run in, and the Eagles they're just starting out. So it's really interesting. Yeah. It's really interesting to see, but the game's going to be huge, and I'm wheels up on Friday night. Going back to Philly, and I'm going to the home opener. So hopefully I can deliver that win.
Need a big win.
Yeah. Hopefully I can deliver it.
Yeah. But all right, guys, we will see you around. We will see you for next week. I mean, maybe I will, but he will.
I will.
And I'll try and be on more. But it's good mixing it up again.
Yeah. Fly Eagles, fly.
Fly Eagles, fly. Let's go.